is the fact that if you live almost anywhere in England, you're having a tough time finding a dentist. One person who wants to help everybody find a dentist is the man in front of me now. His name is Mark Jones, and he runs a campaign group called
Toothless in England.
Toothless in England. Mark, tell me a bit more about Toothless in England. What do you stand for? What do you do?
Toothless in England is a grassroots campaign made up of people of all different ages and denominations across the country who are getting together. They're fed up with the fact that you cannot access an NHS dentist easily, if at all. And our campaign is calling for an NHS dentist for everyone.
And as we sit here today, the number of NHS dentists, despite whatever the government may say, and we featured a piece by Rishi Sunak earlier, a month or so ago, despite whatever he says, the access to dentists is failing fast, isn't it?
It's falling off a cliff. We are seeing the managed decline of NHS dentistry. We saw it locally here in Felixstowe in Suffolk just the other week, with a practice closing its doors to its dental patients that they're seeing under the NHS contract. Many of those patients who were going to that practice have been going to that practice for 30, 40 plus years. So as, you know, child and adult, they have been seen under the NHS. Now, it is impossible now to be seen in Felixstowe for anyone to be seen by an NHS dentist.
And this is happening in towns all over the country.
It's in towns, obviously significantly here in Suffolk, in coastal towns and communities, but towns, villages and cities as well. I was speaking to someone in Stockport just a couple of days ago, and she's an elderly person living in Stockport, which is just south of Manchester, and the community that she lives and works in, and she works sort of part-time voluntary worker. No dentists around, and there are kids and adults and children not being seen for their checkups on a regular basis because they can't access anyone, and that's really wrong. That's an injustice there.
The other thing that gets to me, I mean, we are all about older people, and the other thing that gets to me is that older people are becoming more and more isolated, if you like, in society. So it's even worse for a lot of older people contacting any kind of help, and dental help is the one bit of help where you can't call an ambulance, can you? If you've got dental pain, agony, where do you go?
Well, this is it, and you're absolutely right. It's not something that an ambulance would ever consider. I don't suggest they'd ever consider coming out to you for. So where do you go? Well, a lot of people are ending up in A&E in their hospital, and obviously the strain that this is putting on accident and emergency departments up and down the country is significant. There are stories all along, and you only got to speak to the nurses and doctors that work in A&E, increasing numbers of children and adults are being seen in A&E because they simply cannot access a dentist when they need one, and in fact they can't access one when they, just for normal everyday checkups.
All right. So what can A&E do for someone with a dental situation? Do they deal with it? Do they just give them painkillers, or what do they do?
Well, they can often, if it's really critical, in critical incidents, when I say critical, in severe incidents, they can extract the teeth.
Right. Oh, they can do that. Tell us a little bit about how people can get in touch with you with Toothless in England. You're mainly on the internet, aren't you?
Yeah, so we are on Facebook and we're on Twitter. So just type in Toothless in England, and we're also encouraging and we'll encourage your viewers and your listeners to write into us with their story. We're taking testimony on a weekly basis, a daily basis, people emailing us, telling us their stories, and some of them are really quite awful to read, because people are being put into positions of, well, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing, DIY dentistry. And the elderly, I had a couple contact me the other week. They've been seen by a dentist all of their working lives. They're now well into their retirement, and they're enjoying their retirement, but they need help with dentures and fittings and things like that. Now that has been stripped away from them because their NHS dentist closed, and they can't be seen by anyone, and they frankly cannot afford to go private. And they've said to me, both of them said to me, Mark, we've been paying into our national health insurance all our working lives. The gentleman has worked over 50 years, man and boy, and his wife as well, worked 40 plus years, paying into their national insurance, their national health insurance, and now the country has left this couple, this retired couple, behind. And they are really worried, and they were used to being seen by the dentist every year, and they know what the consequences are of not being seen by a dentist, and because they're getting older and older, they're really worried for their health. They want to stay healthy, and they feel that this opportunity and this, they consider it a right. And I agree with them. It is a right.
Well, you paid in.
You paid in. You should get something out of it, and they're not being given that opportunity, which is it's a travesty.
Okay. Well, Mark, we wish you well, and we'll keep trying to let more and more people know about Toothless in England.